We got a woman who was accused of adoption fraud. I didn't even know that was a thing. Adoption fraud. How do you adoption fraud? Well, Buddy finna go ahead on and tell us. One of my colleagues is finna tell us how.
It's an unusual crime, adoption fraud. Jacksonville police have arrested a 36-year-old woman and charged her with trying to pull off such a scam. News 4 Jax reporter Marilyn Parker spoke with an attorney, the attorney that the woman contacted. The lawyer declined to share specifics of this case, but was willing to shed some light on what typically happens in these cases as a cautionary tale for prospective parents.
The timeline is telling. Starting in June 2021, 36-year-old Nishamria Harmon contacted attorney Mark Miller.
36? Okay.
Miller reached out to a prospective parent to see if they would consider adopting Harmon's unborn 13th child.
That baby is on baby 13. Hold on. Slow me down. That baby's on number 13. 36? Ooh, that monkey toe up out here in these streets. Go.
Adopting Harmon's unborn 13th child. In July 2021, the parent and Harmon went into an adoption plan for the child, and the due date was on or about February 1st, 2022. The attorney gave JSO scans of the adoption plan, his communication with Harmon, and maternity-related living expenses, but didn't give an exact number. Miller wouldn't comment directly on this case because it's ongoing.
Shout that baby out for having her real, though.
But he shared how costly this process can be.
Some cases there's very low maternity-related living expenses. In other cases, it can be extraordinarily high, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Here's a text thread between the prospective parent and Harmon. The parent on January 4th, 2022 asked, "How are you doing?" The next day, Harmon responded with, "I have a doctor's appointment today. Follow up in 2 weeks." Then on January 10th, 2022, the parent asked, "How are you? When is the next doctor's appointment? And is the baby's head down yet?" The next day, Harmon responded with, "I have 2 appointments this week." Then on the 14th, Harmon said, "We're making another appointment for next week," and ended the text with "getting closer."
Shout out to Mac One for the $5 super chat. He said, "Crime has risen so much, I started looking into investing in private prisons." Hell, all of us need to go on and invest into the private prison. People is going to jail. I promise you, that's what's going to happen. Shout out to Dominique for the $17 cash app. I appreciate that right there. What our numbers look like? Y'all, we should be over 500 with the numbers. Here we go.
From the report, the texting continues on January 27, 2022, when Harmon sends a message to attorney Miller. "We don't know what was said, but according to the report, the due date should have been 5 days later." Over a year later, Harmon's arrested on Thursday, charged with adoption fraud. How often are you coming across cases of adoption fraud?
That's a good question. Was she even pregnant? Good point.
Adoption fraud is very rare. Those are really the only 2 cases of adoption fraud, when you're not pregnant or you are pregnant and you are accepting monies from or assistance from more than one person.
Now, the fraud in this case isn't clear from the report. Harmon was released from jail on Friday. We knocked on her door to find out what happened. Harmon called the station, and when we called her back, "Hi, I was calling to speak with Miss Harmon. This is Marilyn with News 4 Jax." She didn't want to talk about it now, saying this is a private family matter.
Oh, okay.
Miller wants to reiterate that adoption fraud in Florida is unusual. He says majority of the cases are legitimate, but there are a few things that you can be looking out for. He says you want to try and go through a adoption agency or a reputable adoption attorney. He says look out for those red flags, do background checks, pay the bills directly, and don't just get to know the person you're adopting from, but get to know their family as well. In Jacksonville, Maryland.
Jacksonville, Miss Parker. Shout out to Miss Parker for always having her reel in. Miss Parker always have a real. Remember the last show? The last time we saw her, she did the one where she had to get inside the car, and she got out the car, and the cameraman was on point. Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you something. But listen, Sugar, was you pregnant though? Oh, we need to know. Was you pregnant? Well, here, it went 13. Oh, my God, baby, you 36. 10 years ago, that was 26. Then 3 take away from that right now. 23. Ooh, when did you start having them babies? Baby. Babies having babies. Ain't that what it is? But listen, man, so y'all, if y'all want to adopt, stop. See, because we be trying to cut the cost, y'all. People be trying to cut the cost, and it's understood. Because adoptions cost. Adoptions really do cost, and you got to have your money in order, and this and this, and you may have to help out with doctor's appointments and food for the person, and all that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So it can cost. So y'all got to really do your due diligence, get to meet people, know people, have their proper addresses, and like they say, get to know the family. I need to know everybody within the first month, baby. Everybody who you around, do you smoke, do you snort? I need to know all this type of stuff right here, baby. You messing it up for everybody else. But it is what it is, though. Moving right along, I ain't gonna need much hold you.